action.
Hello and welcome to The Bomb Filter, an experimental movie podcast designed with one thing in mind: to determine the worst movie ever made. We take bad movies and put them through a series of tests to help us decide just that. I'm joined by my co-host and fellow mad scientist, Rob Scucci, and this week, Kevin Meng at the Freelanceaholic on Instagram. Good longtime friend. Hey, Kev. Hey, Rob. How are you guys, and why are we doing this?
Well, you go first.
Ahead,
You're the
Rob,
guest.
please. No, you go, please.
Okay. We're off to a great start. I had a glass of orange juice 3 days ago, and I still have heartburn. So that's how I'm doing. Kevin?
Well, I watched Christmas with the Kranks twice in the last 48 hours, so I'm sure I'm doing worse than everybody else on the face of the planet because it's just an absolute travesty. I would take heartburn 10 times out of 10. Okay,
fair enough. That's a fair assessment. So moving right along.
So I guess Kev didn't like it.
He's right to not like it. It's not, it has the same problem with, most latter day Tim Allen flicks where it has everything in a row that would make a funny movie, but then the funny part doesn't happen.
Yeah. It's like they extracted it and pumped it into something better.
Yeah. And they wanted the PG-13 rating. So I mean, there could have been, there were scenes in this movie that would have probably been roll on the floor funny if it was rated R.
Right, that happens a lot.
There were a few. There were a few that had the potential to be funny, I think, but there was just not the will behind it to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
Or the writing.
Yeah,
it's poorly.
Oh yeah. I don't even think it was written. I just don't feel like there was any writing at all.
It was just skit.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way.
Reveal skit.
It was one cliche scene after another where you could almost predict what was going to happen. I just knew what was going to happen. And what was going to be said almost.
Yeah.
You just knew that she was going to have to, can we get into the movie right now or no?
Yeah. Well,
I just knew that Jamie Lee Curtis was going to race that woman with the shopping cart for the honey baked ham or whatever it was.
I knew the second I saw the opening credits.
Yeah.
The second I saw the opening credits, I knew a ham was going to get hit by a car at some point.
All right, dude. Let's get into the bad reviews before we reveal too much about the movie. So I wanted you to guess, Rob. I'm going to read this review, and then I'm going to have you guess who wrote it, okay?
Yeah.
The movie is not funny, ever, in any way, beginning to end. It's a colossal miscalculation.
There's only two guesses, either Gene Shalit or Roger Ebert, and I'm going to go with Ebert on this one.
It was Tim Allen, actually. Tim Allen reviewing the film.
It was Roger Ebert.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Rick Groen, I guess is how you would pronounce it, the Globe and Mail. Nice, short and sweet one. He says, ho, ho, horrible.
All right, that's fair. That sounds like it would have been in the movie, actually.
Yeah.
How was that not in maybe it wasn't, I was just asleep.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Mark Savlov, this is my last one, of the Austin Chronicle. Egregiously mediocre and flagrantly ill-conceived in every department. This is truly the cinematic equivalent of finding a single solitary saltine in your stocking and a pair of old tube socks underneath the tray. Humbug.
You must have had some horrible Christmas experiences. It's painfully specific. This is like that time I found a saltine cracker. Yeah. My parents passed out drunk under the Christmas tree.
Whenever it's oddly specific like that, it means something horrible happened in their childhood.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
He's just having terrible flashbacks of saltines in his stocking.
All crushed up.
Yeah.
Had to turn it
this
out.
Is all we can afford for Christmas. Scum.
He turned it out and had to vacuum it every year.
Yeah.
Let's throw it to some YouTube comments, Rob. You got any?
Yeah. So To Jesus I Belong says, and that's number 2, Jesus I Belong. This movie refuses to play. Something is wrong with it. How do I get my money back? And I just want to say, what I want to say is, if you were able to play it, you'd still want your money back. So that's where we are with this one.
That's true.
I wish this movie got a Blu-ray release.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Fair enough.
And then the people in this movie were annoying. You guys want a Christmas party so bad you throw one, roll the eye emoji. No punctuation on that one.
Never. Those were really funny.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, let's keep trucking along. I've got a lot of material to cover, so I'm going to just try to lightning round our Keystone apparatus today.
Sure.
So what that is a small community of movies that we take from streaming services that's suggested to us. We get the critic score average for all 7 of those movies and then compare it to the critic score of the movie in question, this time Christmas with the Kranks. The difference is our score that's on Rotten Tomatoes. So let's do test number 1, the Keystone apparatus.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, step up to witness my latest creation, the darn, tootin', rage-inducing, convoluted, highfalutin Keystone apparatus. You want to know if you're predator or prey? Then step this way and have your say. Wait, oh no, what's happening? Something is going terribly wrong! The Keystone apparatus.
All right, so the first movie in this little community is Deck the Halls. I don't know if you guys seen this.
Never seen it.
DeVito and Broderick.
I like it. Sounds good. I mean, if it's got Danny DeVito in it, I'm in.
I like Danny DeVito too. But maybe this will be next holiday season for us.
Okay.
It got a 6.
Okay.
Okay.
Big step up from this film.
Yes, right. The Santa Claus with Tim Allen. I usually try to pick one with the lead actor.
Actually, a solid movie.
Yeah.
I think it's fun for what it is.
I have my reservations about the Santa Claus, and I know I'm going to get hate for that. The movie is best when you are realizing that he is actually Santa and he's going through like the kind of montage of like what it would be like to gain all the weight and gain the hair and like, you know, how shocking it would be. That stuff's great, but the kids, I can't stand the kids. Go ahead,
one thing that made me, one of the reasons I admire Tim Allen, despite his obvious missteps, is the original script for the Santa Claus, which he wrote. He wanted to shoot him with a shotgun off the roof.
Pretty solid.
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I got a 72, so that backs up Kev.
I mean,
solid movie.
So for me, I really like to judge movies on like what is the goal of the movie. You know, like what is the purpose of the film?
Yes.
Right. Like, you know, Dumb and Dumber is not a fantastic movie, but I love it because it's supposed to be stupid and funny, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not supposed to be Citizen Kane. You know,
Right.
It's not supposed to be The Godfather 2.
Yes.
Like, you know, it's the Santa Claus is supposed to be like a feel-good, funny Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Which it is, even if it's cheesy and just probably garbage. You know, This movie, on the other hand, is supposed to be a cheesy, feel-good Christmas movie. What it is basically one of the 3 biggest stains in our nation's history.
Yeah.
And this is the problem. You know, it doesn't fulfill its, say, raison d'etre, right? It doesn't fill its purpose. And that's why it's so bad.
I think that Kev just basically encapsulated what we're trying to do with the bomb filter is like make fun of the difference between what they thought they were making and what they made. Because that's my purpose, is to point out, like, if they're making Christmas with the Kranks and they think this is going to be a movie that people watch every year and laugh really hard at, like it's Christmas Vacation. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And then they make a movie like this. That's the kind of movie that I want to dissect, because the awkward, like, difference is comedy gold for me personally. Yeah. But to keep us rolling, Jingle All the Way was the next one with Schwarzenegger. That's the one we did last week, of course.
Excellent movie that I absolutely love, and I'm sad that I missed it.
We both found it to be extremely entertaining, even after having seen it 20 times.
Yeah,
you know?
I've seen it way too many times.
It's a bad movie, but it's really, really fun. Jack Frost, Rob.
We'll get into that later. We'll get into that one later.
Yeah, we'll get in. It's Keaton. Michael Keaton.
Yeah, I've seen that. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no worries.
He gets hit by a car or something? Is that like, does he die, or am I thinking of the wrong movie?
He's a traveling blues harmonica playing musician who dies and becomes his son's snowman.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I saw it. Yeah. Who thinks of these movies? Like, people have too much time, dude.
Yeah. Tim Allen also wrote that script.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
19%.
Okay.
Fred Claus with Vince Vaughn. I've seen it. It's not good.
Never seen it.
21%. Okay. Will Ferrell and Elf. I'm not a huge Will Ferrell guy, but that's a good movie.
I like Will Ferrell. I didn't like that movie that much, though.
Okay. I do like it. 85%.
Fair.
And then Miracle on 34th Street. I wrote down Mara Wilson because I think she's probably the best. I mean, David Attenborough is in that one as well. But
I mean, it's from like the 50s or something like that.
No, it's the Matilda girl
the remake.
But it happened in, I think, the early 90s, like 93 or something.
Yeah.
Oh, I definitely saw that one, but it's been too long. I can't recall it.
Same.
I mean, I don't really watch Christmas movies anyway.
I watch them every other year, usually.
Yeah, Home Alone is like incredible.
Right. But it's not really Christmas.
Yeah, it almost like doesn't feel like a.
I don't want to open up
let's not
fight.
get into it.
Yeah, but
Home Alone is not a Christmas movie, and Die Hard is. Okay, that's the whole.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, right. That's the debate. 60% on that one, making our average for all the movies considered a 40%. Mm-hmm. So that's not super duper high. You would expect not a huge differential here, but you guys want to guess what Christmas with the Kranks got on Rotten Tomatoes if you haven't already seen?
I think I saw it already.
Okay, Rob, you want to guess?
If it was Metacritic or Rotten Tomatoes, but I'm pretty sure I got it.
Okay. Rob?
I'm going to guess like sub 10, like 7%.
A 5%.
Okay.
Yep.
It's really bad.
So Deck the Halls got a 6, which is 1% better.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a negative 35% for differential, so to speak, and it's Prey. So that tends to be the case. I've already written that in our results because I knew it earlier. So I'm just going to move us on to test number 2, the elevator movie plot pitch. So what I do here is try to summarize the movie as succinctly as possible, getting the important details correct, and I compare it to the 8 seconds that it took me to do for Jaws, our last good movie. That's the gold standard. So any seconds it takes longer than 8, we record as our score for test number 2, the elevator movie plot pitch.
The elevator movie plot pitch.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Neighborhood chieftain Vic Frohmeyer has led his local flock in perfect Christmas harmony each and every holiday season. Heavy persistence, hard work, and coordination has kept each neighbor in lockstep, marching toward the goal of holiday perfection. If just one neighborhood home was to take a godforsaken vacation, the street aesthetic would be entirely ruined. This very year, Vic will meet his most challenging situation yet. The Krank family household, normally a festivity-fervent family, has fallen into frenzied form as they attempt to fly forth to fairer weather. Vic knew that this would violate the Christmas tree agreement, and he took heroic action, maneuvering, lobbying, by God, even bullying the Kranks into submission. Vic saves the holiday with a little help from Krank daughter Blair. Conform, you pieces of shit. No vacation. No! Think of your neighbors. Think of your family. Think of your traditions, goddamn you. Time.
Was that the real trailer, or did you write that? Because I don't know. I'm pretty sure that was just.
It's a minute 2:65, so we'll call it a minute 3. Is that fair?
Minute 3. Okay, so 63 seconds. 8 from that's 55 seconds, right?
Okay. Yep.
Okay, I totally did not be as verbose as possible in order to get the biggest score I could. What's the star rating, guys? Normally given a star rating. Would you want to watch that or no?
A star rating.
That's a 4-star.
Yeah, 4-star from up. Okay.
Out of 5?
Yeah.
Half.
That
trailer was worse than the film itself, I think.
All right, let's go with a 2.25 or so. We'll say.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Like that. All right, cool. So this is the one that's really this next text is going to open it up for you guys to chime in as much as you can. Basically, what we're going to do here in the indefensible dialogue counter is read through the really terrible lines of dialogue, and Rob and Kevin are going to have a chance to defend them if they so choose.
I wrote down a bunch of lines that I thought were hysterical.
Okay, awesome.
Okay.
We'll see if I got them. If not, I will open it up to mentions at the end, just to add to the counter because I hated this fucking movie.
Can I just say something before we get into this? Why do people care so much about what these people are doing for Christmas? I don't even know my neighbors' names. When I come outside, they hide.
You basically just read my review out loud.
Yeah, my neighbors might have a rooster that I interact more with.
Yeah,
than they don't even come close to me on Christmas. And these people are literally attacking the home and trying to. Yeah, it's like a Salem witch trial.
Right. It's
it's like we're going on a cruise. Shut the fuck up. That's it.
Seriously. That is how I feel as well.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
All right. So let's get into test number 3, the indefensible dialogue counter.
Something that makes absolutely no sense. Something similarly stupid.
All right. Awesome. So we've got a couple of clips for this,
Okay.
but not yet.
Right.
I'm gonna read a little bit of dialogue first. One, Nora, that is Jamie Lee Curtis's character, right, says early in the movie to her husband Luther, "Finish your pasta." Luther says back, "I'm finished with my pasta. It's you I'm not finished with."
Whoa.
So Jamie Lee Curtis, of course, takes that as I'm going to bang you now, which was not the case. Why would you say something so saucy if you weren't planning on throwing her in the sack from there?
One thing I have to say about that line is that in a movie full of atrocious dialogue and poorly written slop, that's actually not a poorly written line. You know, it's got the right kind of screenwriting punch, right? There's the tension.
Yeah.
I'm finished with this. I'm not finished with you. It's got the right tension for a screenwriting thing. But yeah, it's obviously just a garbage scene that we can get.
It's a bad scene. Maybe let's defend the line.
Okay.
Rob?
Why just defend?
It's well written but poorly placed because they want the innuendo for the comedy, but the comedy didn't happen.
They didn't have the balls to take it further. You know, like there was no kind of. It was like I don't even know what you call it. Like they set her up for disappointment for like comedic purposes,
right? But they didn't really
a Hawaiian shirt and like I guess that's supposed to be a little bit of racy humor for the adults that are watching, right?
Yeah, but
it doesn't go far enough to make it.
I agree. Yeah. They undersalted the pasta.
They broke the tension too quickly, right?
Yeah,
they didn't get it to the height and then break it. You know, they didn't take it as far as they could go.
Okay, so do you guys want to defend it or not?
No.
I want to defend nothing in this movie. So no.
Okay, one. Nora again. This is Nora and Luther once more. "I might have to lose a little weight." Luther says, "I'll lose it for you."
I mean,
what?
Yeah.
Okay, two. All right, Rob, let's throw out the first clip. This one's a minute long. We don't have many, but they're a little chunky because they include more than one line. So give this a listen.
Here we go.
Dear colleagues, I will not be celebrating Christmas this year. As many of you know, Blair has joined the Peace Corps. So, Nora and I have decided to avoid the rituals of Christmas, save our money, and take a cruise. Therefore, I will not be participating in the usual holiday rituals. I will buy no gifts and accept none. Thank you anyway. I will not attend the firm's black tie Christmas dinner, nor will I be here for the office party. I am not angry, and I will not yell humbug at anyone who offers me a holiday greeting. I am simply skipping Christmas.
Okay, so
pathetic.
The reason I'm not defending this is because it goes with what Kevin said, like how the whole neighborhood gave a shit about him canceling Christmas for the year. Like,
the company would never care.
No, the company doesn't give a shit.
This reminds me of the multiple paragraph long "I am leaving social media and here's why."
Yeah.
And yes.
Just a cry for attention. They're back in 3 days anyway.
And then no one noticed they delete the thing. No one notices they left. Everyone just remembers them being there again. Like, so it's like,
it's like trying to be edgy and cool, but then they're all angry when people don't recognize. Like, why isn't anybody recognizing that I'm leaving social media? Right?
And like,
that's got to be crushing.
I do that sometimes when I'm working on a lot of projects. I'm like, I use social media as a distraction so I don't work on my projects. So every once in a while, I'll throw up like, hey, I'm disappearing for a week. Like, email me if you want to stay in touch. And like, I get like one email, like, and then I come back and everybody's like I was never gone. Because no one's paying fucking attention. So you don't need to read the riot act to everybody. You can just dip out quietly.
First of all, Tim Allen is probably, I'm going to guess, okay, so I looked it up. He was born in 1953, and this movie was in the mid-2000s.
Yeah.
So people of that generation, they're not going to send a mass email. They're going to go around and tell people face-to-face, hey, we're not doing Christmas this year. Like, my daughter's off in the...
He doesn't even email everyone. Like, he could just send a reply all basically, or like a send to everyone in the company. But instead, he prints out 70 pages and then hands them out to everyone,
just destroying
on his way through. But anyway, I wanted that to be worth 3 lines because
Why did we listen to that? Why did we listen to that?
Well, because I wanted to give the listening audience a feel for how bad more than just one line is. Like Strung Together, I felt like that was just really bad writing, and it was an opportunity to show how poorly they can string things together.
Yeah.
I want to say something about that line that I think is interesting.
Okay.
I think screenwriting and copywriting are very similar in that you need to realize your audience, right? And you need to not tell them things that they're already aware of or things that they don't need to know, because you have a purpose. The purpose here is to move the plot along, right? That's what screenwriting is, right?
Yes.
This scene is kind of a waste because you can actually just skip him telling the office he's skipping Christmas, and the movie doesn't change at all.
No,
actually.
not
we
at all.
all know that he's skipping Christmas, right?
Right.
And the fact that he told everybody in the company that he's not going to be there for Christmas had no effect on the movie.
Right, exactly.
Because all the people in the company were not even in the rest of the movie.
No.
Why do we as the audience need to know that the company knows? It was nothing but a very poorly written device to move the plot along that they think is good, but it's actually just lazy.
It's terrible.
Because they're just saying what the plot is.
Go ahead.
Yeah. What they could have done was just showed him leave his office, and there's a ribbon up on the office door, and he just pulls it down and shakes his head, and they all look at him derisively as he's leaving. 1 to 5 seconds of him just walking out of the door. And that's
or they could have showed an office party where they're hanging around and everybody's drinking champagne, and one of the assistants comes up and is like, "I heard about the cruise,"
Yeah.
And then that's good screenwriting, because you're not writing out all the little details for the audience.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
They felt they needed
you're
to
giving
spell
them
it
the
out.
credit,
Right?
Yeah. Like they can understand that. If somebody comes up to you at a party and says, "I heard about the cruise," it's implied that this was all talked about, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Two things, real quick, because there are a ton of lines that we still need to get to. But one, sometimes this writing to me seems indicative of future plans that they don't fulfill, but then they forget that they had set up something. It's possible that they had some office scene that they might have even shot that they didn't include in the movie. That might have been might have made this more necessary. But two, I feel like it might be an explanation because they're going for the widest pool of people that they can get. You can tell because this is like the most corporate movie ever made. There's no Christmas in it. It's Christmas movie, right? Thank you, Roger Ebert. I read his review, and that it's true. There's really not a lot of Christmas in this movie because they're trying to cast a very wide net.
Yeah.
So what this does maybe is explains to the people that have not yet understood exactly what's happening in the movie.
Okay.
What's about to happen in the movie.
So it's simplified to appeal to a wider audience.
Right. Those are my two possible reasons, but that's not a defense. That I'm actually saying that both of those are bullshit reasons that either they should have gone back and taken it out because it didn't end up mattering, like you said, or they should have just given the audience more credit. Because when when you feel the need to explain to me, I kind of feel insulted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, there were a few lines in there that, the humbug line, I didn't like that he says there that they're skipping Christmas, blah, blah, blah. I had 3 in that dialogue there. Is there anything in particular you want to defend about it, or can we just go on to number 6?
Can we please
6.
Okay. Luther, you're intimidated by Frohmeyer? Nora says, honey, he's like the unofficial ward boss of our street.
It's like Gangs of New York or something.
Right. What is a ward boss?
It's just a big, bloody, knife fight in the middle. You're not going on that cruise, dang it.
All right. So, Rob, you want to defend that?
No.
Okay. Number 7. Luther about the old neighbor. He's pretending to ball up a snowball, and he says, one snowball with a little yellow spot on it. Skim that bald head of his.
I was thinking about writing that down, but I passed out. I was way too tired. I fell asleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So number 8, keep moving.
Yeah. Please, for the love of Christ.
Luther in the mall. You know what's odd? When an Irish pub serves fish tacos, I don't think I'm going to do that again. Is that a joke?
I honestly don't know what that was there for. I remember hearing that and just what was the point of this?
Yeah. I don't know. I think it was supposed to be funny. They're like, oh, nobody ever orders fish tacos from an Irish pub. Like that's common knowledge.
It could have just been like ad-libbed because Tim Allen was like, whatever. Like, I have a ton of money and I don't care about this movie.
Could be. Still moving along.
Yeah.
Luther again, because it's really his movie. To his older neighbor, I didn't bother to jot the guy's name down, but he says, "You're like 10 years older than me."
Oh, I wrote that down.
And the neighbor says, "Yeah, prove it." He's like 30 years older than him. Yeah. So I thought that was really odd.
He looks like Giles Corey in Giles Corey in The Crucible. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
He's the same guy that plays Maester Aemon at the wall in Game of Thrones. The dude's
okay.
125.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. He's actually. Have you seen Raising Arizona with Nick Cage?
Yeah. Oh, I have, but years ago. That's a good one, actually.
It's good. Yeah. He's in it, and he's like he works at the factory with Nick Cage. No, the neighbor in Christmas with the Kranks, and he's like, he's like got a pile of shit in his hand, and he's like, "Can you believe what I almost stepped in?" Was like the joke that this guy delivers. Yeah. He's way younger in that movie. Mm-hmm. Much better role.
It's like, first of all, why is this guy so angry at Tim Allen? What did he do?
Yeah, steps on his cat. Maybe.
Another thing, like about this is like, okay, if the neighborhood is so close knit, they must have been neighbors for quite some time.
Yeah,
right?
You would assume.
Like, where's the feud coming from? Like what exactly is?
They're skipping Christmas.
Yeah.
No, but it's obviously deeper than that, right? Like somehow I don't. Get it.
It's deeper than that. But like, did Tim Allen run over his cat in the past?
Possibly.
Did Tim Allen get drunk and like drive up on the lawn or something? Give us a reason.
We don't know. Yeah, we don't know.
Plot device.
Right. Exactly. Well, that's exactly what they're missing. Yeah. Again and again. Number 10, Luther again. So this is after they hear like people singing outside and somehow don't realize Luther says carolers right next to our junipers.
Can we just move along? I don't even want to talk.
Go.
All right, that's 10. Number 11, Blair mentions Enrique, right? And then Luther says, "What's Enrique?"
Okay. I actually chuckled at that one. That was a good one.
Okay. Wait, so do you want to defend that, Rob? Because that'll be 10 for 11.
I don't think it was good. I just chuckled at it because it was so bad. But yeah, I guess I lost the race.
Nah, I thought I don't know if you're going to say, but I thought the commie line was funnier, but.
No, I don't have it. No, I don't have it.
But, you think communist?
I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. I mean, Venezuela was like socialist and, Caribbean. Yeah.
Is it?
It doesn't look like it. I mean,
no, it doesn't look like it.
Communist Party of Peru.
Okay. Well, yeah, but there's the Communist Party of America.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure Cuba and North Korea are the only two left, or is there another one? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Anyways,
but number 12 is Wes, the neighbor that let him borrow the tree, right? Mm-hmm. He says, "What are you going to do about the cruise?" And Luther says, "I don't know." So he literally had the reason I wrote this down is because I thought this was never going to their credit, they do resolve the issue of the cruise. But at that point, I knew that they were just going to hope that we forget about the cruise, because the movie, I was sure of it. So if you guys want to defend that one, feel free.
Because it was also an opportunity to bribe him for the tree. You could have the cruise if I can have the tree.
That's true. That's
wow,
good.
I never thought of that.
Damn. Okay, so 12 for 12. Number 13. The neighbor says, just some neighbor says, "Poor Frosty." And Luther says, "Poor Frosty, my eye."
That's awful.
That is as bad as it gets, in my opinion.
It literally doesn't get it. Does not get worse.
Was that a Cheech and Chong reference, though? Because they had the song "Earake My Eye" on Up in Smoke?
I don't think that they were thinking that.
All right.
All right, clip number 2. Now, this is also a very chunky clip, but this has
just going through my notes,
a number of lines, a huge number of lines. I'm sorry for the length. I promise there won't be another clip this long. Rob, let's give it a whirl.
Sounds good.
Coming through.
Well, I thought you were skipping Christmas this year, Mr. Krank.
Yeah, what about that? What's going on there, Luther?
Blair's coming home for Christmas.
Blair's coming home for Christmas.
And she's bringing her boyfriend.
And she's bringing her boyfriend? And she expects to see a Christmas tree?
Yeah.
And a Frosty?
Of course.
And what about the annual Kranks Christmas Eve party?
That too.
Okay, when does she get in?
plane arrives about 8 o'clock.
8? All right, people, listen up. Gather round. We're about to have a party here at the Kranks. A Christmas homecoming for Blair. Drop what you're doing and pitch in. Nora, do you have a turkey?
Smoked trout.
Smoked trout. Anybody got a turkey?
We have 2, both in the oven.
Beautiful. Get him. Ned, get over to Brixton's. Get his Frosty. Get some lights, too. We'll put him along Luther's boxwoods here.
Hold on. Why should we do this for him? Yeah, he's a jerk.
Regardless of how you feel about Luther, I know a lot of you have mixed feelings about him now, but we're a community. The people in a community stick together, even if one of them has been behaving for most of the holiday season like a spoiled, selfish little baby. We're not doing this for him. We're doing this for Blair. Blair, who used to babysit all your kids. Blair, who comes home every summer and makes us all feel like family.
Yes, that's right.
Why should the daughter pay for the sins of the father? Okay, now, if we even have a hope of pulling this off, you gotta scatter. Get home. Grab a change of clothes. Grab all the food you can and get over here in half an hour.
The thing that pisses me off about this is they are so enthusiastic that Blair is coming back.
Yeah.
They still don't understand, like, hey, these people had an empty nest and they were grieving, and that's why they wanted to go on their vacation.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Blair now, or should we talk about her later, or what?
Open it up.
Okay, so I've never heard this word before. I don't even know if it's like the proper word, but I was trying to think like, okay, so Blair is basically she is the part of the movie that drives the entire plot, basically. Her leaving is what drives Tim Allen and Jamie Lee Curtis taking the cruise, and her return is what drives everybody to want to, come together and have this party and blah, 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 blah. But she doesn't actually do anything in the movie. She's not really a character. She has no personality. She does nothing, right? So I was like, is there a term for this? Because there must be, right? So I ended up finding it.
Cool.
It's called a MacGuffin.
I've heard this word.
It's a plot device used in films or books that sets the characters into motion and drives the story. So the MacGuffin can be an object, idea, person, or goal that the characters are either in pursuit of, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter. But basically, it's just a part. It's the part that drives the plot, but actually doesn't do anything. An example might be
Grail.
Correct, or the rug in
Big Lebowski.
In Big Lebowski, right?
Yeah.
But so Blair is actually a human MacGuffin, kind of like in The Hangover, right? Remember, like in The Hangover, there's the brother Doug, right?
Yeah.
Doug is a MacGuffin. He actually doesn't do anything, right? He's just the reason for the movie's existence, right? Or for the plot's existence, right? And so I was thinking, like, this is something they're so excited that she's coming home. And I'm like, why do you care? She hasn't done a single thing in this movie to deserve anybody caring about her coming home.
Right.
I'm not saying she's a bad person. I don't know. She could be the greatest person of all time. She could be a literal serial killer. I don't know. But that's the thing. We don't know,
Right.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that everybody got so excited and everybody bonded over this one event, it's like she hasn't done a single thing.
No.
She's not done a single thing in the film.
So there are, I'm just going to run through like super fast the lines that really pissed me off. Blair's coming home. This is Aykroyd repeating it to the whole community who don't know that yet. There's for some reason gathered around, right? Mm-hmm. Then he repeats boyfriend. And then, he turns to Tim Allen. He's like, and she'll be expecting a Frosty. Like, what? And then
from Wendy's.
And then, exactly. Yeah. And then, Jamie Lee Curtis says she's coming by at 8, and Aykroyd says 8. To the whole community, like they're already getting ready to perform a party.
One more thing I have to interject. One more thing. I don't know if this movie's supposed to be in the Chicago suburbs. Dan Aykroyd is in it, so I assume it is, right? I don't know if it's supposed to be there. Okay. If it's dark out already, which means it's like 5 p.m. and her plane lands at 8, there's no way you're getting to the airport.
Not a chance.
And getting her back by 8 o'clock.
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
No, that's a very good illogical
chance.
Something along those lines in the logical inconsistency. But you're right. Like
Like, I'm not a big stickler for movie details, but that is ridiculous.
Well, they could have turned on the sirens and had the cops like pretend to rush to the front, and call her, but that would have cleared that up. Yeah. But they didn't do that.
It took me like an hour to go like 4 blocks in Chicago traffic once at a time. You know?
Right? So there's still no chance. Yeah. He says, "Drop what you're doing and pitch it." Like, I know the guy is like manages the street, you know, but like, so we'll get into that a little more later. Smoked trout, they say 3 times. Like, it's really supposed to be funny. You know, we're supposed to laugh every time they say smoked trout. This lady has 2 turkeys. Both of them are in the oven.
Just leaving them in the oven.
Yeah,
like they
just left the house.
To go to this witch hunt.
Behaving spoiled, selfish, like a little baby, he says about Tim Allen, because he wanted to go on a fucking cruise for Christmas.
Yeah.
He says, grab a change of clothes to everybody. Why? They're going to go change their clothes.
Where's Dan Aykroyd's wife? What, is he just single? Is that why he's such like a militant, like fascist about this whole thing?
It could be. That's a good point.
Frosty the fascist over here, man. Like, and like, it's like, why is he so angry that Tim Allen has a beautiful wife that they want to go on a cruise with? And like, that's why he's probably really angry. He probably has a secret crush on Jamie Lee Curtis since they were in high school.
Yeah.
And she
that would have been great.
him.
That would have been great.
That would have actually explained it, and I would have felt better. That's like, there's no explanation to anything in this film.
Right. And there's no one you're supposed to dislike.
Right.
Except for maybe the villain, who maybe they had that realization, the felon. I mean, the guy who was like robbing the house.
Yeah.
Which is I even wrote that down. It's awful.
Yeah. So the whole like atrocious use of that character was pointless.
Yeah.
All right. And then I had one last one. It's actually not in the audio clip, but same spot. Dan Aykroyd then threatens to call the chief to get the, like, what kind of authority do you have? Right. So, that brings us to a whopping 24 lines already. Okay. We have a few more. I'm just gonna read them off.
Okay.
Written dialogue. The Jake Busey is holding a sign that says N. Enrique.
Yeah.
Right. Like Enrique. So they make the joke again. Wasn't funny the first time.
Yeah.
26, Luther says, "I look like my mother." This is when he had all the white stuff on his face.
The geisha garb?
Yes. She's been dead, 15 years?
Yeah.
Okay, that's hilarious. 27, Luther. "Not to worry, Mel's hams are normally filled with a gelatin and a fat-like substance." He says to the neighbor he's giving the ham to.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
The old guy, he's like making amends at the end. And he gives him the ham. And he's like, I'm allergic to pork. The old guy says, "I'm allergic to pork." And he says, "Not to worry, it's a gelatin with a fat-like substance."
Yeah.
There's still some pork in there, I imagine. It's not entirely gelatin. Number 28. Yeah, exactly. The old neighbor says, "Our names aren't on the tickets." Luther says, "I know, I'll take care of that." No problem.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Number 29, skipping Christmas. "What a stupid idea," says Luther. Nora, setting up the fucking sequel they expected, says maybe next year.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to defend anything?
Not a single thing.
No, all we needed was like the end, and then the question mark comes in at the end.
All right.
I feel like they unfairly made Nora like villainous in the film, though. Does that make any sense? Maybe not
a little bit.
Like
a little Sally Field.
I think she was like purposely like annoying wife for no reason, you know, like, which is just like kind of a stock character.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just lazy, you know, like she could have had much more depth than that.
Definitely.
From the very beginning, like the first scene, she's forcing him to get out of the car.
Yes.
In the rain. And then, like, is she knitting a sweater while he's inside? Where did that sweater come from? Did you see that?
Like, I did.
Yep. Yeah. Just crocheting or knitting. Yeah.
Yeah. Second of all, like, I think that's unfairly positioning her as like, okay, she's the bad guy, right? It's
right. Because they need
that.
They feel like they need someone to take that kind of energy.
But it's just another cliche. It's another cliche that it's tired. You know,
it's really tired. Very tired. I agree. Were there any lines of dialogue that you said you wrote some down that you want to mention?
I had a couple good ones. Okay, let me see here. Yeah, Enrique had that.
Yeah.
Okay, how about when they're in the salon and Jamie Lee Curtis is tanning? You look like a corpse. That's what the woman says.
No way.
She walks
Did she
in.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I missed that. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
pretty
going
good.
down.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else?
Maybe one of the saving graces of the film. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about Dan Aykroyd putting his hands into the car and following Jamie Lee Curtis along?
I have that
at a fluttering, or what do you call it, plodding pace. Stop the car. Don't do something you're going to regret. Stop the car, Nora. Where is Frosty? Stop the car, Nora. Indulge me. No. Now, what I really want to know is, did the screenwriter write with periods after it?
Yeah.
That's why he delivered it as such? Or he just given up on acting as a whole? Because
I think he knew the trash he was in.
Yeah.
I got one. I'll wait till you're done, Kevin, but I got one. I just want to remind you guys.
No, go ahead. Let's just bounce them back and forth.
Tim Allen to Dan Aykroyd says, "Who you gonna call?"
Oh, does he really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
It was when they were like asking for Frosty, or he said like, "We're gonna get Frosty no matter what." And he said, "Oh yeah, who you gonna call?"
Wow.
And there was there was a pause for it and like a knowing look.
Okay.
Wow.
What? Anything else? Because I've got the tally in my head.
I got a couple more.
Okay, go for it.
How about this one? When they're tallying up Christmas expenses for the love of God, nobody knows why.
Yes.
$63 for ornament repair? You gotta be kidding me. Like, you're paying to repair ornaments? Who has ever once repaired an ornament in their whole life? Like,
that's a niche market right there.
Himself is rolling his eyes. It's like, dude, I'm $3 down a Christmas tree shop.
Yeah, seriously.
Go buy a stack for me, man. Hang it up on the tree. When they're talking about Christmas trees, this might have been a hidden one. Mrs. Krank likes the big ones in reference to the tree.
Oh, sexual energy.
Yeah. Like, and the guy said it with a big smirk on his face. Like, Tim Allen, like, shouldn't punch him in the face.
Yeah, no joke.
Yeah.
Like, saying that right in front of your wife.
Right, exactly.
Like, last one.
Okay.
Last one. He offers like $25 or whatever for the Christmas tree at the end. He is desperate, right?
Yes.
And then he goes, $75. And he goes, nah. And he goes, yeah, supply and demand. And it's like,
yes.
Like, you might as well just skip the scene, you know?
Seriously.
Like,
yeah.
Because, he doesn't, he goes home with it and he just throws it into the yard, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't use it.
Yeah, he buys it and then he goes home and he borrows it from his neighbor anyway.
Yeah.
Who borrows it?
Right. Rob, any more? Because
I'm good.
All right, 35.
Okay.
I think that's more than Battlefield Earth.
Yeah.
This movie deserves every bit of it, though. All right, so we need to move on.
This is worse than Battlefield Earth, man. This is worse.
It very well could be.
The only thing that... okay.
No, go ahead.
Maybe I shouldn't have said the result, you know?
Okay.
In my mind is that this is probably the worst film I've ever seen.
Okay. Well, yeah, we don't know the results yet.
But what I'm saying is, like, Battlefield Earth had huge expectations and a huge budget, right?
Yeah.
Whereas this is kind of just like, there's like 10 famous people are like, let's get a big paycheck and see what happens.
Right. Yeah.
But anyways, please move on.
Okay. So, we're just going to hop into test number 4 then. The emotometer overspill. I promise, there's less of this. I really don't think this was super overacted. So, the next bunch of tests is going to move faster than that one did. I, appreciate your patience, audience. There was just so much bad dialogue in this movie that we had to really develop all of that. So what we do in the emotometer overspill, 10 is the tippity top of what an average person, how they would react to a given situation. Actors sometimes go past that mark. So we have a piece of equipment that measures how far they go. If they go past that 10 units of cages in measurement, we start to record it, just like the seconds past 8 with the movie plot pitch. So if you pass 10, we record the score for overacting in test number 4, the emotometer overspill.
You blow a fuse, sing from the devil cuts loose.
The emotometer overspill, where screaming is king.
Wow! I'm falling in love.
Okay, so got a couple and then another clip. Number 1, the fake Santa in the beginning, who turns out to be the creepy guy at the party, right? Mm-hmm. He says, "You can use an umbrella," as Tim Allen is running into the store. Yeah. Did you guys catch the delivery there?
Yeah.
I caught the delivery, but I never really put 2 and 2 together. I never like now that you mention it, I remember it, but It didn't have any significance to me when I heard it, actually.
Yeah, I didn't understand why the cadence and why did he hold out the note? Tim Allen was right next to him. So I plugged it into the ammometer. It came back at 21, which is pretty high score to start, and one of our highest, actually. Okay. But I'm going to just keep chugging along here.
Pretty solid.
The physical comedy of the neighbor when he plugs in the lights and they blow in the front door.
Mm-hmm.
And the person gets electrocuted,
There's a couple of those moments of physical comedy.
And Dan Aykroyd's first scene?
I believe it is the first scene that Dan Aykroyd. And that came back at 17. We're going to go to clip. This is a much shorter clip, so bear with us. There are 2 instances. See if you can catch them.
They're here.
Who?
Vic Frohmeyer was trapped in that Becker and a gang of their kids.
We're here for Frosty.
They want Frosty.
Well, they can't have him.
Nora, please give us Frosty.
Honey, where is Frosty?
He's down behind the furnace. Why?
They won't go away.
Well, don't give them Frosty.
You and Luther do not have to do anything. Just leave Frosty on the front porch. We'll put him up for you.
They said they'll put him up for us.
Absolutely not.
Oh, please, Luther.
No.
Luther!
We'll come back later.
And Frosty better be here.
Oh, they're gonna come back.
What's the deal?
You're panicking on the phone in a locked house.
The neighbors are going door to door
to set up a ridiculous 7-foot-tall snowman.
Oh, sure, easy for you to say. Miles away in the safety of your office.
Yeah, well,
I am the one trapped here. I am the one dealing with this.
All right. I agree. So maybe it's time that you left the neighborhood.
Okay, so Nora's panic acting was there. I thought Jamie Lee Curtis just went over the top.
Yeah, agreed.
22 there. Okay. But Luther with the 7-foot snowman line came back at 23.
Okay.
So it's up there. We're not in Jingle All the Way territory yet, though.
Just a side note, imagine being part of that 90-piece orchestra and seeing what the music was used for.
I love how the Frosty is such a big deal. And then at the end, they're just like, hey, you go to the store and buy another Frosty. It's like you could have just bought Frosty in the beginning. Like,
seriously.
Like it just and avoided the witch hunt and crucifixion and stuff like that.
Yeah, the worst part is that they show everyone has a Frosty on their roof.
Yeah.
So really, they were demanding to get the Frosty so that they could put it on the house for them. Yeah. Wouldn't Laura or wouldn't Luther and Nora not just turn on they have to allow the electricity to flow into Frosty anyway. So had they let them put Frosty up on the roof, they would have to flip the switch ultimately to turn on all the lights anyway. So they could have kept
the lights on while they were gone, right? Without having to.
Well, they could have, but it was a principle. You know, the principle of not being involved. Christmas, right? Yeah, they don't want to spend the electricity.
So it's kind of like Argo, where they don't want to give up the people that they're hiding in the house.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, exactly.
So basically, Frosty is an international criminal that's being hidden.
Yes, and he's not happy about it. As you can tell by his expression.
He gets like a forged Canadian passport at the end, like they're sending you to Toronto.
Number 4, the creepy guy that I mentioned before, the fake Santa, right? Mm-hmm. The one that Kev said was, well, actually that was off air.
Yeah, that was off air.
Anyway, he's talking to Nora, and creepy guy walking in on Nora. Oh no, okay, not the fake Santa. This is a different creepy guy. The one who walks in on Nora in the tanning salon.
Oh yeah,
right. You guys remember when he walked
the scene,
in?
But I forget what the guy looks like now.
He kind of looks like Eugene Levy, but like a poor woman's Eugene Levy, so to speak.
He looked kind of like Milton from Office Space. He had that kind of
that kind of vibe to him.
Look.
Like, you know? Okay. Anyway, he goes. He walks in, like pulls the curtain back, and then he sees like basically naked Jamie Lee Curtis, right? And he goes, "Whoa, excuse me!" And then Nora's like, "Excuse me!" And then she goes up to the front and she's like, hello, I need a Band-Aid. And that mm-hmm. scene right there, the guy gets a 20, Nora gets a 17 because it was a setup for the creepy priest coming up, but that's a different test. Okay. Number 5, the carolers at the door, like literally at the door.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they're singing, a day or two ago, like as loud as they can, trying to like literally knock the door down with their voices, came back
mm-hmm.
at 50.
Okay.
Number 6, Luther and Nora reacting to the carolers. Luther says, drop, because they don't know what the carolers are yet. They just hear, Rob, what did you say to me? Do you remember?
Yeah, it's fucking Waco.
It really is.
David Koresh is like...
They did the same thing in Biodome with the safety dance. They are trying to smoke them out with the music.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
What are they so scared of? What are they hiding that every time somebody comes on the lawn, they have to drop and hide? It's like they're in witness protection or something.
Right. So Luther's like, drop! Get down!
It's carolers!
Go! Which came back in 18. Number 7, the ham race. I think we mentioned earlier.
Atrocious.
So there's no dialogue really there between the two of them, but Jamie Lee Curtis knocking into the display and screaming, and then when she goes to the front line where the cashiers are, she sees the same holiday ham on the conveyor belt.
Yeah, she begs the guy, I need this.
She's like, ooh, that came back at 20. Her reaction there, really bad. Nora again, never say hickory honey ham again.
Terrible scene.
It's the thing where they do the callback too soon from the incident, and it's just it would have been funny if some time had passed between the incident and her saying,
somebody comes to the party with a honey baked ham, or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. 19 there. The Vic Frohmeyer smoked trout speech gets a 15. We don't need to dive into that. We just heard it. Blair and Enrique in the cop car. You guys remember this? The felon is smushed up against the car, and they both scream way over the top.
Yeah.
That came back to 21. That's competing.
Okay.
Didn't quite make it. The makeshift mariachi band. That's the whole thing. Is
at the end, with a
the cops are in it. There's a fireman in it. Yeah. 19. Are you stuck up there? Says Luther to Ned. And then Ned is the guy who was helping them with the Frosty figure.
Solid, right?
So he says, he pulls the icicle off his nose. He's like, ouch! I'm frozen stuck to Frosty! And then shivers. And the delivery was terrible. That came back at 20. Yeah. But nobody eclipsed the 23 that Luther got for the 7-foot snowman delivery.
I think you forgot the number 1 over at Disney.
Oh, good. Okay, what was it?
The entire movie.
What was it?
When Blair calls to announce she's coming home, and Nora goes, Blair! 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 And runs up to the phone, and it's just screaming, Blair!
Yes, I'm going to write that in.
That is incredibly poorly acted.
You are right. You are right. I should have included
such an overreaction.
Unfortunately, I did not plug that into the emotometer, so I don't have the score. So we're going to have to go with Luther. Because he's already at the SG Arena ready to take on Pick Van Cleve from last week. So we're going to have to let the action go underway. Nora rather is lucky to escape with her life, maybe, because Pick is quite the opponent. But I'm going to plug that in and I'll get back to you on
okay, please.
Because you're absolutely right. I definitely dropped the ball on that one. Nora, thank your lucky stars. We're going to send it down to the full-on SG Championship. Take it away with a bumper there, Rob.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to ask Cheek!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends from distant neighborhoods to the Ask Cheek Arena. Introducing first, standing at 5 foot 10 inches and weighing in at 165 pounds from Chicago, Illinois, your challenger, Luther Krank. And now standing at 6 feet, weighing in at 180 pounds of vicious, violent, vile man meat from parts unknown, your reigning, defending, full-on SG champion of the world, Pick Van Cleef. And there's the bell. Luther and Pick sizing each other up in the middle ring as they seem to be getting a feel for one another. Circling each other mid-ass, neither have made the first move. Stepping to the side, Luther takes it slow. He knows Pick's reputation and doesn't want to make a misstep early. Meow! What's this? Luther has stepped on a cat. My, I didn't even see that pussy there. This gave Pick an opening and he grapples Luther. Luther clearly overpowered and kicks Van Cleef in the groin. You have to be very careful not to hurt his feelings with a shot below the belt like that. Pick pulls from his pocket an ice pick. Yikes! He slashes at Mr. Krank, cutting the arm wide open. Luther screaming as his arm is bleeding. That cut is so deep that you can see the meat of his arm. But really, it's more like a gelatin and a fat-like substance. Pick swings again, but Luther was prepared. He dodges to the side and removes a rope from his back. Why, it's a noose. He wrangles Pick like a wild hog, and he is attempting to wrap him up like a holiday present. But Pick cuts the rope with his pick. Pick with the pick, swings again, this time right into the eye of Luther. Luther drops to the ground convulsing, and he's gone completely limp. Valiant effort from Luther there, but he was simply no match for Pick with the pick. Van Cleef remains our champion. Back to Kevin, Rob, and Chris at the pod. Okay, Rob, let's send it to your ad read after that tragedy. It's hard to see Luther go, but honestly, I'm kind of happy about it.
That was tough.
Yeah,
right.
Bad person. Sorry.
Okay, so today's episode of The Bomb Filter is brought to you by Santa Blob's Sparkling Nog. What better way to get into the Christmas spirit than pouring yourself a tall, thick, viscous, and frothy glass of sparkling eggnog? Unlike Marie Antoinette, this beverage has a head that you don't want to lop off. Guzzle it, gargle it, make fizzy nog art with it. Santa Blob's Sparkling Nog. It's great at any temperature. Serve it chilled with a celery garnish, or marinate your holiday goose in a bucketful at room temperature before lighting it ablaze for your ceremonial Christmas black mass for the Dark Lord Pazuzu. Santa Blob's Sparkling Nog is only available for the month of December, and then they repurpose their factory back to making hickory honey ham flavored fleshlights. Santa Blob's Sparkling Nog, the holiday quencher.
Wow, that's so perfect.
That was great. I really feel like this pod should have been brought to people by Zoloft or Prozac or other antidepressants based on the things that we've been speaking about.
Yeah.
That is totally fair.
That was really incredible. That was well done.
Yes, indeed. And I'm glad that the factory that makes gelatin fat-like substance flashlights are on board. So Thank you, guys. We're going to move it on to test number 5, the poor taste detector. This is just basically a tally of all the in poor taste moments in the movie. Simple as that. Test number 5, the poor taste detector.
Okay.
Oh my God, you can't say that. It's 2021.
I thought that you wanted to say something there.
I was going to nominate the entire film from start to finish.
Okay.
I'm not kidding. Like, I'm not even trying to be cheeky, but it's really bad.
Okay.
Can I, should I nominate one scene that in particular that I feel like is in really poor taste?
Yeah, sure. And if I have that written, I will just mention that I also have it written and we'll skip over.
How about like the weird, like creepy guy at the end magically speaks Spanish and it's so pandering to Enrique.
Yes.
Which is frankly the token character of the film that is like not completely, but the film is pretty much whitewashed, right?
Yes.
And so they're doing some pandering. And it's like, oh, look at how magically cohesive we are and tolerant and all this stuff like that. It's like, oh, and Enrique is so worried he's not going to fit in. But this guy magically lived in Peru and speaks Spanish.
Yes.
Such blatant pandering, you know?
It was. It absolutely was.
It made me sick to my stomach, you know?
Okay. I like that a lot. I'm going to put these down for our consideration at the end. Rob, should I've got 3 clips, or 3 before our clip. So I'm just going to jump into that, and then I'll let you know. The first one, I thought the Christmas card salesman was super pushy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like asking why not, you know, like, why aren't you going to buy? I mean, the whole neighborhood really, but that guy in particular. Number 2, forcing your wife into a tanning bed. She didn't even want to do that. And Luther was like, this is a good idea. That causes cancer. So let's not do that. 3, blindly walking into a tanning room. Of all places, that guy that I was talking about, that looks like poor woman's Eugene Levy. And this is our 4th clip, last clip of the film, another kind of short one. Pervy priest. Go ahead.
All right.
Dude. What is
Here we go.
Nora Crank?
Father Zabriskie, hello. What are you doing here?
It's a mall, Nora. I'm Christmas shopping.
Of course you are. Of course you are.
Are you okay, Nora?
Yes. Sort of.
You're bleeding.
Oh, yes, it's just a scratch. Could I get another towel, please?
I'm looking for a Band-Aid. Jeez, lady, make up your mind.
Nora, I hear it from a good source that you and Luther have decided not to observe Christmas this year.
Yeah, sort of. Father Zabriskie, Luther and I are fine. Everything is fine, and everything is completely normal.
Lieutenant said you were bleeding. Are you all right?
Luther?
Hey there. Father Zabriskie. Hey.
That was the end of the scene. Yeah, sorry. I just chimed in at the wrong moment there.
Oh,
but, yeah, I mean, we won't even know. But that priest, you can't hear it in the dialogue, but he totally stares directly at Jamie Lee Curtis's tits.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying like
that you would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, that's what would be expected if somebody were wearing a bikini in the middle of the ball, right?
Right.
But they're making it extra obvious by his facial expression. You know, it's like,
yes,
it's that's how cliche the film is.
Yes.
You know? Like,
right.
Yeah. And the weird part too is like, why are they acting so surprised that a tanning place in the mall has customers?
Right.
Right.
Like you're going, like, what are you doing here? It's like, I'm Christmas shopping. What are you doing here? I'm like, I'm getting the service this place is offering.
He's such a dick. He's like, I'm in a mall. What the hell do you think I'm doing, lady?
Yes.
Like, all right, dude. Man of the cloth or what?
Well, that's the next one actually is a crowd gathered around the salon.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the mall, and still somehow it's like everybody involved is like part of the neighborhood because they're all interested in what's going on in the standing salon.
And the super cliche cashier at the tanning salon. It's like, wow, how many times do we have to do this?
Seriously. Yeah. The newspaper has a picture of Nora and Luther.
Why are they
in their
in the newspaper?
I don't know. And I thought I actually wrote another one, so this will take us up to number 8. But is that possible slander in the newspaper? Like they're like, oh, these people are skipping Christmas this year. Like, let's all like, you know, it's actually kind of endangering because it's sort of like gaslighting people into, you know, and I'm not saying violence, but like sending these people nasty letters and things like.
No,
way to ruin Christmas.
I'm not sure. I mean, I have no idea. I think. I'm not like a legal expert, so I don't know. But I think like slander has to be like
if it's true, it doesn't count.
Purposeful misinformation that harms somebody's business, right? Like,
sure.
I don't know though, like, but I think if I were to write like for example, if I owned a newspaper and I was like, Chris Achman skips Christmas, like that wouldn't be.
No, I guess that wouldn't be.
Something like. It
still makes you wonder why the newspaper gives a shit.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't. These people. It's just a horrible, horrible addition. I wrote that down in my notes. Like the newspaper ? Like
yeah, right, and including a picture.
Hoot. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, not giving any of the $3,000 that you're saving to charity, but getting like momentary Botox.
Yeah, the Botox is pretty rough for me, man.
That's going to come up again.
That's another thing that I think was really lazy was first they made Jamie Lee Curtis look like the villain because, not the villain, but like an annoyance in the movie by being like, hey, you've got to go out and get me this stuff and like all this other stuff. And then like to like save or to kind of like balance out the not the evils, but the bad stuff she had done. Oh, but you've got to donate to charity first. It's like, it's just so forced.
It is forced at every. It's basically like Rob said before. It's like skit after skit after skit, and
it's
none of it really. Yeah, it's contrived.
It's contrived.
Yeah,
it's contrived.
Surprise visit from Blair, right? I mean, like if you're going away for months to the Peace Corps, right?
Yeah, and you're back.
And you're back. I think it was 2 weeks. They said
with a husband or something like
right. Maybe more. Give advance notice to your parents.
Yeah.
It might be planning. I don't know, a cruise.
Yeah.
Spooky old guy interested in Blair at the liquor store, right? The umbrella Big Santa guy. And he's like, oh, Blair, like takes an interest in Blair for some reason.
Yeah.
And then Jamie Lee Curtis, Nora, is like, why don't you come to our house where she will be at 8:00? Overly snoopy interest in your neighbors just in general.
Yeah.
Joking about suicide.
The noose, right? On Frosty? Yeah. Why did he have a noose at the ready? Just like, I had this laying around, like, for just in case? Like, what the fuck?
I don't blame them, to be honest. Like, having been around this film, probably for weeks on end.
Okay, well, guys, it actually goes a step further.
Okay.
the actual line, Nora comes up and says to Luther, like, what do you think you're doing or whatever? And he said, actually, it was a suicide attempt. He says in the movie.
Why do I not remember that?
He actually says that in the movie.
What?
Do you know what Baker Act is? The Baker Act?
No.
The Baker Act, if you have suicidal ideation in front of like medical staff, they have to admit you.
Okay. Even if it's obviously a joke.
Yeah. Well, he was hanging from the roof by a noose. So like, how would they know it was a joke?
Well, I mean, I think if you're having like suicidal ideation in front of medical staff, then it's like basically a cry for help, right?
Right. Yeah. Like,
yeah, but they got to commit you because it's basically, they witnessed it. So it's on them, like as doctors to commit you,
to take you in. Yeah. Just evaluate you if nothing else. Right.
Yeah.
Expecting the neighborhood to live up to and keep the lie, with Blair forever.
Mm-hmm.
So they're expecting the entire neighborhood to never mention to Blair that this wasn't the plan.
Yeah.
Releasing the burglar, the Spike.
Yeah.
The worst, unbelievable trash in this film.
Mm-hmm.
Just adding this extra. What was even the point of this?
I will tell.
To drive the morality of Christmas home. Like, it's so lazy.
I agree. I have a theory. It's not. We'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there. I will further develop this.
I think it's to kind of like to further the point of like, okay, give and trust and community,
or else like, you end up like this guy.
Yeah, correct. And like you know, you should trust to a fault and take anybody in. Which is like, a religious value that's shared by Christianity and Judaism. And Islam.
I'm sure it definitely has those tones to it for sure.
But, police officers are not going to pick up a criminal and leave him in the car when they go to a party. I don't care if it's Cheech and Chong or whoever it is. It's like, hey, we're going to go drink with these people on Christmas. You stay in here and freeze.
Yes.
Yeah, and especially now, like with everything, it's like you'd be canceled in 2 seconds.
Oh, no joke.
Oh,
yeah. You'd be gone from the department. Number 16, priest at the party. What about midnight mass? Aren't there a bunch of like different mass?
There's a 5 p.m., a 6 p.m., a midnight, a 5 a.m., a 10 a.m.
Yeah, on Christmas Eve. Right. So what's he doing there?
We have a friend.
Don't vacation, James, okay?
We have a friend. Yeah.
I have a Christmas,
All right. Good point.
We have a friend that we worked with and went to school with, and he does the organ at churches, and from like December 15th through like New Year's, you don't see that guy because he's just he's playing church organ every hour of the fucking day.
Right. Leaving Ned on the roof to die.
Yep.
the guy who nearly died, covered in icicles behind the Frosty. Revealing the pork ingredients. Like, don't tell them you're giving them a gelatin and fat-like substance meal.
Yeah.
Because that's just, they're not going to eat it now. I had one more, and I'm going to add Kev's couple of, moments, but Kevin actually mentioned this. Rolling up the window on Vic's fingers instead of just speeding up.
Yeah.
Like, if you speed up, then you don't trap his fingers. He just gets left in the lurch, but if you roll up the windows, you crush his fingers, and he goes,
Yeah.
And then he gets dragged, basically.
and could die.
And could have literally life-altering injuries.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Rob, anything else you want to mention?
No, not in this segment.
Okay.
I think I'm good.
What's the title of this segment again?
The Poor Taste Detector.
Okay. I believe Enrique at the end is in very poor taste.
I agree.
Even though I think it's fake,
It is in poor taste. I agree. So we had 21 with your additions. You want to, Rob, what do you think? You want to go 22?
Yeah, let's do it. Fuck this movie.
Okay. Yeah, agreed. All right. Well, with that said, we've got one test and then our super famous shitcoin segment.
We had a last minute addition on that too.
Yeah. Oh man. We'll talk about that a little more, but let's do test number 6, accounting for entropy. So it is all about tropes and cliches. We've mentioned some already. I'm just going to kind of run through them. If you guys disagree, let me know. It's test number 6, accounting for entropy.
Obvious tropes, brought to you by, he's right behind me, isn't he? We're gonna need a bigger boat, and well, fuck me sideways and call me Senator Blimpy.
All right, cool. So number 1, Luther avoids walking into the pothole in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's raining, right? But then a car splashes. And I've seen that 3,000 times.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha. Number 2, the not finished with you sex mix-up that we mentioned.
Yeah.
That's also something overused. Vic disappears like Batman. What?
Yeah.
Do you guys remember that?
Which one? No.
Loser like turns around and Vic's
Yeah, he's gone. Right.
disappears.
Yeah, okay.
The Tim Allen cat impression.
Yeah.
He goes, "Wow!" He also does that in the Santa Claus, and I'm fairly certain another. The audience, email us bombfilterpod@gmail.com and let me know if you know of a movie, another instance where he does the cat impression, because it drove me crazy. I've heard it before. The tanning salon priest incident was a trope, right? The whole scene was a trope.
Super tropey. Yeah.
6. Just when you thought the carolers were gone, there they are in the backyard.
Literally every scene in this film is a trope.
It is. I agree. I'm just going through
I'm not even joking. I'm not exaggerating. But
number 7, the Botox joke.
Yep. Every random rom-com, Christmas movie, whatever family movie has this kind of BS.
Frasier killed it. Frasier killed it. Frasier did a good job with the Botox when Niles got it. But that's
I never saw it.
When he's like unbelievable, but he can't like move his face.
That was a good episode. Frasier's actually really funny. Number 8, surprise, Blair's coming home. The mad scramble, the kind of the device. It's the only thing that they do to change the temperature of the movie.
Yeah.
The last ham.
The last ham.
Number 10, the truck running over that ham, a la Mrs. Doubtfire in the face.
Yeah.
Also written by the same man, right? That wrote this movie.
No shit.
Really?
Yeah, Chris Columbus, right?
Oh, that's right.
I guess
he was the producer on this one. I think, right?
Oh, was he the writer or the producer?
I think he produced, helped to associate producer, producer on this one. I'm not sure. I definitely saw its name.
Christmas. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So there's the moment. Also, another ham, right? Another ham reference. Nora signs the blank check in order to get the ham, but they cut away, so you don't know the number.
Yeah,
because they can't decide what an outrageous but funny number.
So
would be.
Columbus did write the movie.
Oh my God! What did he do? What did he do?
Yeah.
God,
he wrote Miss Doubtfire, right?
Yeah, I believe he did.
Yeah.
The roof near-death incident. That accident there.
Awful. I wrote that down in the notes. The camera angle too. That was like sped up as he was coming down the super cliche.
That's in our last test as well. That's kind of a CGI addition. The community effort party thing they did. Cliche. Like the whole community is ready at the drop of the hat to pull this thing together for them,
right?
And teach them the value of community or whatever. 14, the Transformer hit with a wrench. It works. Like Armageddon.
Yeah.
It's our first episode, but he just I think it was like a rubber mallet or something.
And this is how we do it. This is how we do it in Russia.
Yeah, exactly. Bang. Kev was pissed at us for doing that as our first movie, by the way.
Nice.
I like that movie, all right? I mean, come on, sue me.
We need this to get to a full-length feature runtime cop chase in the middle. I swear to God, that's why that was there.
Yep.
It's there because they were like, this isn't going to be an hour and a half long if we don't have a scene here. So
that's why the whole building the Christmas party was like that. That could have been a 3-minute montage with the Smash Mouth song. Get the whole house set up and then have the party.
Yes.
Can I say something about the montage?
Yeah, for sure.
I wrote down the montage is my favorite part of the movie because I could skip it.
Yeah, fair.
Because I knew nothing important was going to happen in the montage, and I literally skipped like 3 minutes of the movie. Because I knew what was going to happen at the end. Like they were going to make the party, right?
For sure. The Lady Caroler unexpectedly boogieing, dancing, or otherwise getting down. They didn't develop her at all, so it just didn't land. Luther realizing what Christmas is really all about.
Wow, I didn't see that coming.
Right. Giving away the cruise tickets is also, it's kind of the same idea, but it's like, you could probably predict that was going to happen.
Crotchety, grouchy neighbor, I think is
good.
Pretty
20.
There's a name for this trope. It's some friends become enemies and some enemies become friends.
Wow. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
All right, nice. And I had one more that'll bring us up to 20 now with that grouchy enemies are friends thing. The maybe next year sequel setup that went nowhere because this movie bombed.
Did you mention the cashier?
The cashier.
The
No. Yeah, you're right. You're right. She was totally cliche.
Super cliche.
Tanning salon girl. Okay. Rob, you got anything else?
Mine was like the whole 0 hour thing, which you kind of covered with the neighborhood coming together to put everything. So like, just like the countdown. Yeah.
Okay. No, you're right though. That's slightly different, right? So let's go to 0 hour because I like that every fucking movie we do has one.
Yeah.
What about, I still think there's more that we haven't covered yet.
I'm sure.
What about middle-aged dad always complaining about the price of things? Like, I don't know about your guys, but like my dad is always like, what the hell? I just spent $200 on this Christmas tree and blah, blah, blah. Even though he's happy, he loves Christmas, but like,
right.
He loves Christmas and he wants to see his family, but he feels like his job is just complain.
Yeah.
And he buys presents for everybody. He's like, how much this stuff costs me?
Right.
It's like, well, I don't want anything anymore. He hasn't gotten me anything in a long time.
Sure. Yeah.
But like, he'll buy like a ton of stuff for my nephews and be like, I just spent blah, 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 blah on this. Like, well, I don't even know why I do this. It's like, we didn't ask you to do it.
It's like
exactly what Tim Allen is like doing. It's like, I just spent $6,000 on Christmas. It's like, let's spend less, dude.
Yeah,
like,
right. Take your
We're
cruise.
not asking you to spend all this money, dude.
It's like
you
that.
Spend $60 on ornament repair. Die.
It's that martyrism that like people do so that you can give them more praise for what they're doing, They're
also afraid to like express happiness, right? Like they don't want to be like, oh, I'm enjoying Christmas.
Yeah, right.
It's like,
I couldn't go to Blockbuster until I got my license because I charged my dad a fee once, and he fucking
like 1978.
Called them criminals and like just said we're never going back there again. And when I finally got my license, I'm like, I can get a Blockbuster membership and lie about it.
Yeah.
So the middle-aged.
You guys remember Stu Leonard's?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
My grandpa, we used to go there until my grandpa found out that the guy was cheating on his taxes.
Nice.
Got in some trouble, so we never went again. And I missed the animatronics and stuff, like the petting zoo.
Yeah, dude, the petting zoo was really cool. Speaking of Blockbuster, I got confused with a Chinese Kevin Meng at Blockbuster one time.
Okay.
I was like, that's not me. I don't owe like $100-something. They're like, I come here all the time. And I see you get like the Blockbuster or whatever.
Yeah.
Not Blockbuster. The one that was at the plaza where across from the cash.
Yeah.
Whatever that was. I forget the New Haven Video or something like that.
Yeah, Haven.
Video Haven. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. It's like, you're always coming here and I see you at that restaurant. I'm like, it's
not me.
It's definitely not me, dude.
So that's a total of 23 tropes. Very tropey movie. So nice high scores for this one. Rob, you want to do the bumper for the shitcoin right after my very short explanation? So this next segment is the shitcoin. So what we do here is we take people bothering us about Bitcoin sales and trades on Instagram. We like to really fuck with those people. We think it's super funny. So what I'm going to do now is read my dialogue to this person that Rob is going to represent. Her name is Susan. So we're going to get right into it. The shit.
It's $4.50 for a large coffee. Do you take shitcoins? Hello, wave emoticon.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Do you like chocolate pudding?
Nope. Question mark.
Oh, I'm good.
Okay, nice. Thumbs up emoticon.
How are you? Do you like any pudding?
Yeah, sure.
Whoa, sweet. Me too. Working on my game. What's up?
Where you live? Question mark.
Yes, I was.
I'm from California. And you? Question mark.
I was born in a vast field of wheat just outside of Elgin, Illinois. A beautiful stretch overlooking the Pacific. What about you? Where are you from?
Actually, I was born in, Florida, now in California.
Florida, California. Nice. Is that near Golden Flakes Lake?
Jacksonville.
What kind of person are you? Good? Bad? Happy?
Happy. You?
Perforated.
Actually, I'm a senior account manager in Bitcoin mining. Have you heard about Bitcoin before?
Music bar emoji, piano emoji, drum emoji. Have a little help from my friends. Music, drum emoji, guitar emoji.
Sorry.
No.
Really?
What is it? Sorry, had a double gelato.
Do you know that you can make up to $7,000 daily in Bitcoin mining directly to your Cash App / Bitcoin wallet, bank account, or any withdrawal details you wish to?
Do I have to work in a cave?
LOL. No.
Like a mine? Like a tunnel?
No. I'm willing to teach you about Bitcoin mining, coach you on how to trade, and work with you.
Good. I hate small spaces. You're pretty. Just looked at your pictures.
I liked that text with a little heart emoji. I have thousands of students that I currently tutor and trade for via Bitcoin mining, and they all earn up to $7,000 daily.
Can we FaceTime so I can introduce you as my girlfriend to my mom? She says it's time I get out there.
WTF, I'm taken.
I'm 14 and overdramatic. Bummer. Okay. Let me know what happens with that. I'm hoping to find a person I can go to the cinema with.
All right. Are you on WhatsApp so I can explain more to you about Bitcoin mining?
Hey, can we continue this tomorrow, my lady? I have to go shovel the turkey pit for Mamaw.
Okay. You on WhatsApp?
I'll download it after I'm done with the Shuval, my girl. Talk tomorrow.
All right.
End scene.
I don't even know what just happened, but okay.
Yeah, this is the kind of dialogue I like to open up with these people. My favorite line actually was the double gelato.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to test number 7, so we can get Kevin back and
I don't mind. I think it's interesting. I mean, I always mess with MLM people or people who give me spam emails or
it's the best
spam Facebook messages. Yeah, it's awesome. Oh, it's great.
Okay, so we're going to jump into test number 7, this bad effects, side effects. So it's really a CGI grade. There's 4 different grades you can get. The worst is Deep Blue for the sharks in Deep Blue Sea. Next best is kind of the practical effects of Total Recall with Schwarzenegger. That's exclamation, not great. Scorpion for the Mummy Returns version of The Rock as a half scorpion, half human god thing. Looked terrible. And then the best score you can get is a Beowulf, where I don't know if you've seen that, Kev.
Like the animated Beowulf?
Yeah. It looks almost real, but it's eerie, and you can tell it's not. So right. that's the best score you can get.
I mean, that's pretty bad too. Though,
it's bad. Well,
wouldn't Avatar be the best or no?
Yeah, but these movies suck.
Yeah, of course. They're not going to be talking about.
Right. So that's the grading scale 1 through 4, and then I just take an average for each moment that we point out.
Gotcha.
And that gives us our
result. A lot of CGI in this movie?
No, not really. There's not a lot of examples, So we're going to jump into logical inconsistencies pretty soon. So test number 7, bad effects, side effects.
Bad CGI till the day I die.
Okay, number 1, I actually thought it was a scorpion. The opening credits, they had fade in kind of graphics with the lights. Like there's a wreath and they light up, and it actually looked really good in my opinion. Okay. Not the best, but Total Recall for the mailman and Carol are slipping because they did fast forward dynamics like Ernest when he sprays the hose to intentionally
I can't really recall the scene though.
He makes the front sidewalk outside of his house what would it be? Untraversable?
Yeah.
And then they do fast forward dynamics, so they fall over the carolers and the mailman. Number 3, the Botox eyebrows I thought looked like shit.
Yeah, that was tough.
Deep Blue. Recall for the Frosty roof fire eyes.
Okay.
Didn't get it. Didn't like the way it looked. Luther off the roof. Kevin mentioned this before. It was CGI, and it looked like crap. Like the angle that you mentioned, his body looked rubbery, kind of distorted.
It was mostly the angle and the fact that they sped it up. I'm not sure how much CGI, but you could tell something was not right about the way he was falling off the roof.
It just wouldn't look like that.
It was the way the shingles were coming up from under his hands, right? When he was like
something
sliding
bad.
down. Yeah.
It was something bad, yeah.
And Bob Hassett pointed out in the Catwoman one that Halle Berry slam dunks, right? And then they land, and it's like 12 seconds later and the ball lands, or vice versa, right?
Yeah.
Same thing happened here where the snowman like falls and smashes on the ground far before Luther.
Yeah.
So I just didn't understand the physics of that. Like, things are falling to the earth at a pretty constant speed, right? So, gravity has the same effect on everything unless there's a lot of air resistance, right?
Yeah.
So Frosty's not a feather.
Yeah.
Neither is Luther. Anyway, moving on. Plug-in lights explosive turn on. Like, so it's the physical comedy thing, and then the whole neighborhood like cuts out. And I just gave it a recall because it's cliche and didn't look good. Like when you plug it in and it shorts the circuit for the whole neighborhood, it's not going to throw you backwards 12 feet like it did in the movie.
Yeah.
And the last one that I have, and then, I'll open it up to you guys, obviously, for mentions, but the icicle face was just totally over the top.
Yeah, fuck that.
The Frosty guy?
Yeah, he was just totally covered in icicles. So recall there.
So dumb, man.
And that gave us a result when I averaged all that out of 1.85, or if you round up a recall.
Okay.
Which it's not the worst CGI movie we've seen, but it's not.
I also think that the movie wasn't conducive to CGI.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is.
It's not like he's got to ride a reindeer around in the sky,
right.
Although it might have been better.
It could have been. Yeah, that's another thing that the Santa Claus would not do well with is that now the CGI looks. Aaron was saying, because I was talking to Aaron about the Santa Claus just last night, but that the CGI in '94 looks good. But if you look at it now with the reindeer flying, it looks like Nintendo.
Right.
It's terrible. Anyway, let's move on over. So the total recall is the score. Unless you have anything you want to mention, Rob.
It's a mention, but I'm not going to score it. It's when it's zooming out and showing the entire neighborhood at the very close of the movie. One of the Frosties on the roof turns around and waves.
I forgot. Yeah, I meant to mention that as well. That should be a blue. It looked like crap. I remember.
I actually overall think the set looked really nice, though. Like the neighborhood, I think was like really beautiful.
I'll get to that neighborhood at the end of the show. There's a fun fact about the neighborhood.
Okay, cool. So let's let those wash each other out then. The beauty of the neighborhood and the really
I don't think it was anything exceptional. I just think it looked nice and like symmetrical.
I also have something to say on that.
Nice lights and things like that.
Did you guys have anything that you wanted to mention that didn't fall under any of the categories? Because I just want to open it up to you guys to do that.
Okay. Let me look one more time through my notes here.
I got one quick thing.
Go for it.
They never once mentioned having an HOA.
Okay.
Like a homeowners association. You know what that is?
It's like you have to have your lawn at a certain length. And
but like Dan Aykroyd's
car in your driveway.
Stacey's parents in Melbourne, Florida, your grass can't go over a certain amount of inches. Your front door can't be a certain color. I'm saying like you could have just shoehorned in one line about there being an HOA, and it would have made a little more sense why the neighborhood was going so crazy.
It would have explained.
Yeah, it would have helped.
Yeah, definitely. That's a really good point.
All right, so what about Tim Allen getting in the car and be like, "Oh, she's calling from an airplane." Like, can you make a call? Can you make a cell phone call from an airplane? Is that possible?
I don't think you can.
I don't think that's possible.
Back in the day, they had those credit card payments, and you pull the giant phone out of the seat in front of you.
Yeah,
and you're able to call. Yeah,
but now, like,
what year was this? 2007?
2004.
Okay. They had those in 2004. I mean, I really don't know.
I don't know either, but it doesn't seem plausible. Anything else? Because I've got a bunch to rip on.
I got a couple notes here that I'd like to bring up. I don't know if now is the right time.
Now's the time. Yeah.
It's more about the people in the movie and not the movie itself, though.
Okay. Yeah, go for it.
Tim Allen was arrested for drug trafficking and spent 3 years in jail.
No shit.
Yeah, in prison. In like the 70s, he had like 6 pounds of cocaine.
I did not know
He was found with tons of drugs. I don't remember exactly what. I think it might have been a ton of marijuana.
It was cocaine. It was cocaine. He had 6 pounds.
Yeah. And this was before he was famous.
Well, yeah, of course.
He was a stand-up comedian at the time, but he wasn't like big.
Okay. Yeah, that was incredible to me.
Yeah, same.
He served about 2.5 years, then was paroled.
Okay.
I guess at his peak, he was being paid $1.25 million per episode of Home Improvement.
I'm not all that surprised.
I'm not surprised because that was a hugely syndicated show.
Yeah.
On American television at the peak, basically of like television.
Yes.
Which is
the Friends were making, I think, 10 million episode.
I don't know.
All six.
I don't really know. Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Right.
But what surprises me is, so if this show ran for basically 8 or 9 prime years of him making this money, why the fuck is he in this movie? What drives him to be in a film like this?
I really don't know. It's the best.
I had even 1/100th of that movie, I would be in the Philippines in a mansion somewhere, and nobody would ever see me again. That's it.
Right.
Like, I'm not trying to be in the worst movie of all time.
It's up there. It's definitely up there.
That's one last thing I would like to say is that, like, I actually looked through the dictionary for like 20 to 30 minutes trying to find words to describe this movie.
Okay.
And I came across several words that I had never actually used before, but I had some sort of like,
context for them.
Yeah, I had some sort of awareness of words that actually describe this movie I'd never used before. Trite, banal, vapid, contrived I had used.
Yes.
But basically they all just mean something that's just so empty or cliche or lazy that it basically doesn't even exist.
I hadn't ever heard banal.
Yeah. It's just something that lacks originality. That is perfect for it. There is nothing original at all about this film.
Literally nothing.
I once heard the comedian Bill Hicks refer to Rick Astley as a banal incubus.
That's like, yes, a vessel. Of sorts. All right, so I'm just gonna rip this movie apart with my logic.
Do it up.
Okay. Guys selling umbrellas only when it rains. Is he only on the street corner when it rains? Like, does he have to predict the weather?
Well, I mean, he's Santa, right?
Yeah, he's not like collecting. Excuse me. He's not like collecting money or anything. He's selling umbrellas, and I wonder, like, is that a lucrative business? Maybe in Chicago. I don't know. If the awning collapses, then the white chocolate in that bag is definitely ruined.
Yeah.
So he's gonna have to go back.
Of course, yeah.
He had literally every receipt from last Christmas. You kind of touched on this.
It's the dumbest. Yeah, I hated that the clickety. The clickety thing when he's like
doing that should have maybe
doing the clicking to the music, like ding 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 ding.
Yeah, really really bad. Does every nice Chicago suburban neighborhood have a tree delivery service?
No. 100%
no. The entire neighborhood is out decorating their lawns while Luther is at work. So we're to think that this is a Wednesday at noon. And literally everyone, Rob, you said to me,
I texted you. Does anybody here have a fucking job?
Yeah,
nobody in the neighborhood works.
People? Yeah.
Why is Luther the color of a roasted duck at the tanning salon?
There's no reason.
I don't know.
Is the newspaper allowed to do that? we already talked about this.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
One thing they wouldn't be allowed to do was they had a picture of the front of their house. I don't think you're allowed to dox people like that.
They got up on the neighbor's roof to take it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're not allowed to take pictures of people on public on private property.
Right.
Yeah.
But
the home itself.
I don't know. I don't know. Like, could I walk up to a neighbor's house and take a photo of their house and put it in a newspaper?
I want to say that you can't.
Maybe the address is not visible. You can't you can't dox them, right?
Right. Well, I'm thinking of the like a news anchor. Like posted outside somebody's house who's like a murder suspect, like they're just filming the house all day long.
Yeah,
I know that you are not allowed to take photos of children, like on private. So, for example, if there's like paparazzi, right?
Yeah.
Like if there's a celebrity with their children, you can't. They're now no longer allowed to take the photo, which is great. Obviously.
That is good.
Yeah.
I do know. I've heard of that before, but I don't know. Like, could I just go up to somebody's house and
I don't know either.
I don't know.
Maybe email us on that one too.
Yeah.
Most beautiful street in America. I mean, so we had mentioned this also, but like, Rob, I think you wanted to say something on this.
Yeah.
It like every house is beautiful, kind of in its own way. And the thing that I noticed was that they definitely did this to the set on purpose, but every yard was bordered with like snow, so it was supposed to look like the yard had like the snow had melted away on the yard and was only on the borders, but it actually made for a really beautiful effect on the yard, where every single yard was encased by snow, but there was a lawn there. Yeah. So it gave it that wintry look while you still had the conformity sort of and uniform look of the nicely mowed lawn.
Yep.
Did you have something you wanted to add on the neighborhood, Rob?
Fun fact about the neighborhood, it's 16 houses, only 5 of which are finished houses. The rest are facade houses. If I'm not mistaken, it's the same neighborhood that Alien Ant Farm did the video for Smooth Criminal, Offspring did Pretty Fly for a White Guy, Korn did Falling Away From Me, Puff Daddy did Bad Boys for Life. It's also the neighborhood, I think, in Pleasantville. And a couple other bigger properties. I might be confusing it with another neighborhood, but I know there's one neighborhood in Hollywood somewhere that they use for it's just one studio owns it and they just crank out all their content in that neighborhood.
They didn't build that set. That's just like a pre-existing set.
They basically bought a neighborhood. They bought a neighborhood and it's just used to film.
Rob, I want to also mention that you just said crank out.
Yeah. Shit.
Oh, Christmas with the crank it out.
Cranking it out.
Hey, you got 2 days left of the dodging the neighborhood. Why don't you go stay at a fucking hotel?
Yeah.
You have an extra $3,000. Why stay at your house where everyone's going to bother you?
You have a nice house and a nice, cushy suburban living. Like, just leave.
Yeah.
Just leave.
Agreed.
Just leave.
Mm-hmm. Do Botox injections actually wear off in the first hour or two?
No, I don't think so.
They take like a day or two, I think.
I mean, like, they're supposed to make you look younger. And they don't do that for him, but they also only last for an hour. Yeah. In that hour, they're eating lunch or he's eating eggs or something. You're not
going to be drooling at lunch.
Right.
I mean, if you're incapacitated from the injection, you wouldn't be out.
No.
Like you wouldn't be out.
No. You'd be in bed at home.
Yeah.
Right. I actually wrote, was he even trying to eat? Like that scene really drove me crazy because he's like putting the eggs in his mouth, but you can tell that Tim Allen didn't want to. Like he thought it would be funny if he can expel it like almost immediately, like his mouth does no work whatsoever.
Right.
But like if your mouth was numb, you'd still do a better job than he did. It looked like he wasn't even trying to eat or drink.
Right.
What's with the Frosty face change? Like, is he a demented like spirit in a Frosty?
He's actually been the demon behind the entire film itself, and like that's because we have such an evil film. Right? We have no idea.
There's only one place for trees in Chicago, apparently.
Yeah.
The police would verify with West that Luther was not, in fact, stealing his tree.
Yeah.
It's such a close-knit community, they would have his number. They'd call him and be like, hey, is Luther stealing your tree? No, okay. Well, we're not going to arrest him.
Do police officers come door to door and ask for donations? I've never seen that before.
No, so at the restaurant, I always get a call from the police department. Actually, a few different subsections.
Right?
Yeah. And they call and they say, hey, can you give it to the canine unit or can you give it to the narcotics unit or, can you, and then we'll give you, a badge that you can like put like a decal that you can put on your window that's like we're protected. It's basically like, like protection for your money, basically. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a scam.
Kind of a little bit dodgy,
it's a scam. Yeah.
And you get the firefighters with the boot at the intersections and you basically get the firefighter, you drop $1 in the boot.
Right, but you don't actually know whether or not they're firefighters or just people posing as firefighters.
Right.
I know, right?
So what's with the noose, Luther? We covered that already, but I haven't read. Nobody had Christmas Eve plans.
Nope.
Nobody.
Well, I guess it was always their party that they went to. But the way that doesn't work either because the way they framed it was like they invited different people to the party, not people from the neighborhood. So
yeah, exactly. Well, let me further develop this thought here. You remember the woman that we pointed out had 2 turkeys in her oven.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. 2 turkeys in the oven. Making 2 turkeys for 8 p.m. on Christmas Eve. How did she fit the 2 turkeys in the oven?
Do people eat turkey on Christmas?
A lot of people do.
I've done it, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
My grandma used to do it. It was redundant after Thanksgiving, though.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
Turkey on Christmas, but anyways, yeah.
So maybe so let's defend that by saying like a very small percentage of people have 2 ovens. It does happen. Some people have 2 ovens. It's very rare.
No, I don't think she had 2 ovens. She had 2 in the oven.
Yeah, that's what she said. But I'm saying like
a big bird.
Let's give her that.
Yeah.
Who was it intended for? The 8 o'clock turkey, because she would be feeding a small fucking army with 48 pounds of turkey.
Yeah.
So where are all those people going? They're not going to the party. They're not invited to the party. So she had to call all 30 people and say,
right.
Yep, I'm canceling but that is never mentioned. You're not supposed to think about why does this woman have 2 turkeys in the oven? Is she waiting to eat cold turkey in the morning?
Here's another chance for the movie to save itself. Why isn't it that this family is the family that has the party every year for the block, right?
Right.
And the block is all counting on them, you know?
That's essentially what they were trying to do.
Right. But they didn't do that.
And this woman wouldn't have 2 turkeys in the oven. You know,
nobody in this character would have done anything of the things that they were, supposedly trying to do in this film. If it were a real movie, basically.
Okay, here's another one I want to just open up a little bit. I've only got a couple more, and then we'll do your movie review, back credit names, compare the movies, and we're done. Okay, because I know we're running long here. Are the cops really partying with a convict in the back of the car?
Yeah.
Will he freeze out there? Don't they have to book him? Wouldn't Spike risk the police recognizing the felon that he just let into the party? So Spike would be culpable for
he'd be an accessory.
Right. I wrote, and we kind of said this already, what was the burglar angle? I just didn't understand why he was there at all. I thought maybe so that questionable Father Christmas guy could hit him with the umbrella and then say, I told you you'd need an umbrella so that you knew he was magical or something. Because there definitely was some magical element to this guy who also sang with Enrique in, Peruvian and inspired the pan flute thing and came up with a ham that he how did he know to bring that particular ham that she likes that they don't end up eating because they have smoked trout and 3 turkeys or whatever. What would someone need to pay you guys to see a sequel?
Wipe out the rest of my student debt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay.
I would do it for $500.
$500? I would do it for $500, sure.
I got 23,000. I've got about 23,000 left in student debt, so they could do that.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, 23K is fair.
Yeah, I'd say that's a fair.
They promise to do better. If we could have more Jamie Lee Curtis in bikini and less in everybody else, that would be great.
Agreed. All right, Rob, you want to do your movie review?
Real quick, one more inconsistency, and we had an off-air discussion. I'm not going to mention the part that you told me not to say on air, but Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis it's implied that they backed the car into the garage.
Yes.
Because when she leaves the neighborhood, she pulls her car out. I've never once seen a person back their car into the garage because you have to back all the way up your driveway.
Yes.
And then into the garage.
Difficult.
And on top of that, even further, I've never once seen a person actually put a car in their garage.
I've seen through the door. You mean right?
Yeah.
So
I've seen workout benches. I've seen rehearsal spaces. I've seen laundry rooms. I've seen storage. I've never once seen someone park their car in their garage because when you park your car everywhere else throughout your life, throughout your day, it's out in the open. You just leave it in your driveway.
Yeah, right. Unless it's the car that you don't ever take it. Like the only time that they actually use garage is if it's 1982 Ferrari or some limited edition fucking $500,000 car. Then they leave it in there, they polish it and they don't drive it. Yep. All right, let's knock out your movie review.
All right. I lived at home until I was 22. Not only did I not know the names of anybody living down the street from me or a block over, I didn't even know my neighbors' names. What kind of neighborhood are the Kranks living in where their neighbors are that involved? There isn't even an HOA. They don't have that kind of authority. And pressing the issue further, who the hell prints off an inter-office memorandum to say they're not participating in Christmas this year? The solution is simple. Just don't go. Don't show up. Don't send out invites. Don't go shopping. Hop on a plane and peace the fuck out. Nobody needs to know or care. The way the real world works is that if you don't read off a riot act, then nobody even notices you're gone, so you could disappear in peace. Have you ever announced that you're leaving social media only to return a month later? Literally nobody notices or cares. You don't hear from them for a bit, and then you're back, and there they are. Also, Mel's Hickory Honey Ham. You know, the canned ham? It doesn't come in a can that large. 16-ounce max. I looked it up. Fuck this movie.
Nice. All right, I'm going to read off these bad credit names. We'll compare the movie and call it a night.
Cool.
So I'm going to ramp it up as always. Bonita Friederici.
Okay.
Graham Reddy.
All right.
Okay. Kurt Grooms. Paulie DiCacco.
Mm-hmm.
Allegra Craig.
Okay.
Kathy Ball.
Nice.
Debbie Denise.
Okay.
Kevin J. Jolly.
Mm-hmm.
For a movie like this. Theo Vandernoot.
Okay.
Rick Schick.
Are these real names?
Nice. Yeah, these are always real names for good. Rick Schick. Edward S. and Doug Cox. John Bush.
Nice.
Jon Snow.
Wow.
All right.
Not only is it like a Christmas reference, but it's also like, that's a Game of Thrones character.
Yeah.
And then lastly, Dick Butkus Jr. A famous football player named Dick Butkus, but that's just a bad name. Your name is Dick
But they
Butkus.
probably think it's really funny.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, I mean, that's the only explanation. Why else would they put it in there? They'd be like, oh, that would be funny to put this in the credits, you know? When in reality, it's like, just, it's fucking stupid, right?
You don't think there's a guy named Dick Butkus Jr.? You think they just added that in?
These are the actors' names, not the character names.
Right. That guy could have been like a guy who, like, operating a rig. Dick Butkus Jr.
Okay.
I know. Well, that's a perfect example of how outrageous these names are.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's possible.
Let's compare the movies, right?
Compared to what?
Jingle All the Way.
Okay.
So Jingle All the Way won and we were at, Rob and I were pissed last week. I think you could hear it as the episode ended. We ran the numbers, and Jingle All the Way beat Wild Hogs, and we were in an uproar.
What?
Yeah, did, because there's 7 different tests. So, we ran the numbers. I know.
Jingle All the Way.
I know.
Wow.
Look, I hear you, but science.
But Wild Hogs is horrible.
Numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
Jingle All the Way got a -43 in a Prey. That's part of the reason why, because that's huge.
Okay.
That's for the Keystone. -35 in Prey for Christmas with the Kranks. So Jingle All the Way takes first test.
Okay.
The plot pitch for Jingle All the Way, 25 and a 3.5 star. That crushes Christmas with the Kranks.
Yeah.
So 1-1.
Okay.
IBC, indefensible dialogue counter. Only 14 lines. That's a lot. 35 Christmas with the Kranks.
Every line of the movie,
yeah.
2-1. Jingle All the Way wins the emotometer, though, because that crowd laughing, the guys that were like laughing at the store or whatever, got a 30, which was huge. So it's 2-2. It's a wash on the poor taste detector. There were 22 instances, and then there were 23 tropes for Christmas with the Kranks, making it 3-2. Going into our last, the CGI of Jingle All the Way, it had a total scorpion, which is a 2.5. Mm-hmm. Christmas with the Kranks, 1.85 rounded up to a 2 with a total recall. Takes it 4-2. The worst movie so far this season is Christmas with the Kranks.
It's not even close.
It's not even close.
Yeah.
I mean, these numbers are outrageous. Jingle All the Way tried with the really bad Keystone, the really bad emotometer, and many instances of poor taste. That was what took it from Wild Hogs. But it just got outclassed by Christmas with the Kranks. It's just way, way worse. I think it's clear that Kevin also hated Christmas with the Kranks. Rob, you too. So that is the current champion. I don't know if it's going to be beat. These numbers
it's not good.
Huge.
No,
it's
huge.
It's unfathomable.
It really is.
Can I add that it was written by John Grisham? The book that this was based on.
Oh, okay.
Skipping Christmas.
Really?
But this screenplay was based on the book Skipping Christmas by John Grisham.
Yeah.
And John Grisham, who is like a prolific writer.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think he's a great writer or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, obviously he's really good, but he's not like one of maybe the greatest of our generation, you know?
Yeah, right.
The fact that like this has got the same writer who has like A Time to Kill, you know, and The Whistleblower, and things like that.
Yeah.
Also wrote the book that this is based off of, you know?
Yeah.
Like, did he okay this? You know, like
he probably got a big
obviously
check.
he sold the rights.
Yeah, he got a big check.
But I don't know if he was able to okay the screenplay or something like that.
I
hope not.
it comes down to the contract he signed.
Mhm.
Did he have any creative control over the book? I would guess not, because he would probably not be cool with this movie.
No.
Pick Van Cleef is still our champ. Going in, it's not surprising he's a professional assassin. I wanted to throw another thank you to Kevin Meng for joining us at the Freelanceaholic on Instagram. Check out his page. Really cool stuff. Anything else you want to plug while you're here?
Nope.
Okay.
Don't ever watch this movie. If you haven't seen it, don't watch it.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, Rob, you want to tell people where they can hear us?
Well, I'm going to tell them what we're watching next week first.
Shit. Yeah, let's do that. That's important.
We did a poll between Jim Carrey's The Grinch and Michael Keaton's Jack Frost.
A lot of people voted in that poll, didn't they?
The Grinch won by a landslide. It was like 53-12 or something like that at the final tally.
Yeah, no, I think it hit I checked. I think it hit. We had like 71 votes or something.
Yeah,
which I was really happy with, because that's a lot of people like actually decide, like clicking on our story and then deciding.
Sure.
You know?
So it was a landslide. I'm mad because in my mind, like from when I talk to people, The Grinch is a very polarizing film. Like I don't know what the score is, but like 50% of people love it, 50% of people hate it. Jack Frost is universally a pile of dog shit. And the whole point of this podcast is to find the worst movie ever made. So I'm a little disappointed in how the poll went, because I mean, we really should have been talking about Jack Frost, I feel, because I think there's some moments from The Grinch that we might actually like.
Maybe.
But that being said, you guys go ahead.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think the cartoon movie is actually really good.
It is.
It's like a cartoon, you know,
from like the 60s.
You don't expect it to be a good movie, you know, you expect it to be like a fun cartoon, you know?
Yeah.
With the Jim Carrey Grinch movie, I think it's pretty much accepted that like, it's fucking awful.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Especially Jim Carrey in a big slop of green cotton candy.
Yeah.
And he just like is super Grinchy, which is obviously the point, you know?
I almost didn't even like, that was my pick of the two.
Yeah.
And I really was tempted to not even like mention that I wanted to do that one. I really hate it. Like I have a lot of thoughts.
I don't like it.
I'm looking forward to talking about it. I'm not looking forward to watching it, because I really hate it. I don't want to take the notes. I don't want to watch it, but I know it's terrible. So maybe it'll put up a fight against Christmas with the Kranks, but it's honestly, we'll have to see what the numbers say.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, let's let them know where they can hear us.
All right. So, you can email us at bombfilterpod@gmail.com. Instead of listing off all the places that you can find us, just search Bomb Filter Podcast. We pop up everywhere. You can listen to us on Apple. You can listen to us on Google or Anchor or Spotify, blah, 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 blah.
Done
You
deal.
can get all that stuff. And then Chris has the, Instagram. We're on TikTok, and we're also have, Reddit. You're building a Reddit community, right?
I am trying to build a Reddit community for the pod. So, that's a little more involved, but basically go to Instagram if you want to see, you want to keep up with us, because we post a few times. We do the poll. We like to post some funny stuff that we see or think, on our story during the week. And we have a couple of posts, 2 or 3 a week. So if you really want to see what we're thinking as the week develops, go to Instagram. We do have a Twitter. We don't have much action going on there. And we have a TikTok. But if you follow us there, if we start to amass a following on those social, places, then we will start to give you more material there. Instagram is where to go if you really want to keep up with us. But if you like the TikTok format better, follow us there, and we'll start making you material there. We're going to do a video a week on TikTok, because we have a format we like. So check us out on Instagram. That's it. I just want to thank you guys. Thanks again, Kev. It was a lot of fun. And thank you for listening.
All right. See you guys next week.
Wait.